Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. Thank you for riding along. You can find us at babyboomertales.com. Once you've arrived at our webpage, you can find our YouTube channel, our Boomers General Store, all of our podcast providers, our patron page, and some great, wonderful pictures of that country I talk about so very, very much, both in north central Colorado and northeastern Kansas. September's here. That means cooler nights, shorter days, drier air. It is still technically summer, though. This is a wonderful time of year. Now for the song of the week. Our song this week is Time Won't Let Me, recorded by The Outsiders in 1965. It became a major hit in 1966, reaching number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. It was written and composed by Tom Keene and Chet Kelly. The Outsiders were a band out of Cleveland, Ohio, and they were riding the wake of the British invasion. The Outsiders' first tour was with Paul Revere and the Raiders. I Can't Wait Forever. Time Won't Let Me. With every decade or generation, there are things you love and need and things you dislike, and they pretty much drive you crazy. Since the 21st century arrived, the world has changed pretty rapidly, and I just want to talk about some of those things that I don't like. Let's start off with butt dialing. That's where you call somebody on your mobile phone that you didn't intend to call. I think the origin of the term butt dialing started from people have these phones in their pocket and somehow you sit down and it activates the call key to whoever is the unsuspecting target that your phone has chosen. A few other things about the phone that I don't like, and I like cell phones, don't get me wrong. There's no comparison between the old landline and the cell phones. But the landline does have some advantages that cell phones just couldn't do, like being break-proof. But taking unwanted pictures or a burst of pictures, you go back, look at your pictures, and one picture, and it shows a bunch of little ones behind it and says, 27 burst pictures. Who burst pictures anything? I don't. I don't even know why I would want to. But there it is, 27 of them, over and over and over again. Besides my phone breaking easy, which I don't break phones. Besides the very first, actually second cell phone we ever had, we ran over it. After that, I've been pretty fortunate with my phones. Here's another one for you, social media. Now don't get me wrong, I'm very active on social media. That's how I promote this podcast more than anything. But there's things on social media I really don't like. Most of it involves people I know. People that say are my friends on social media. You know, warm acquaintances, and we're friendly back in real life, and I would probably call them friends. But all of a sudden, they put their beliefs or their outlook on things, or somebody that they don't like that you do, or something, and it just gets me going. It drives me crazy. We didn't have this problem back before social media. We could all disagree and still be friends and friendly and never take anything to heart. But now I read a post by one of my, quote, friends, end quote, and I just want to unfriend them or lash out at them and tell them what I think. And that won't do any good at all, let me tell you that right now. You don't fight fire with fire. If you feel you must, well, you're going to get burned. It's really a sad commentary on the 21st century. It really is. So I have chosen to not let that get to me and not let that get between the person that I call my friend and myself. We all have opinions about things. It's what makes us human. And that's one of the great gifts that the United States of America, and I don't know where you live. I know I see reports that my podcast goes all over the world. But I'm a Kansas boy, used to be a Colorado boy, and that's the only perspective I really have on things. So we are free to say what we want and have our opinion in the United States. And so I always have to stop and reflect, examine myself, and see why something such as somebody's opinion on something gets my heart pumping so hard, and hate tries to come out of me. And that's not what I want to be about, not one little bit. I do not want to represent that garbage. What do the Beatles say? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Well, I don't really buy into that 100%, but just let it be. Another thing I do not care for, even a little bit, and maybe I use it more than I know, probably so, but it's AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Intelligence is hard enough when it's natural intelligence. And here we are putting intelligence into techno things and machines and communications. And there again, you fight fire with fire, you might get burned. You ever see that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator? Those robots had artificial intelligence, guaranteed. They're not the robots on the Jetsons. So I guess I'd have to give up Rosie if I wanted to give up those droids that come to kill me. I don't know. All I know is if I say something to my wife that I sure do like that pair of shoes on TV, next thing I know, I'm getting bombarded with shoe ads. Siri and Alexa are listening all the time. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know I have an opinion. I have an opinion. Hey, I have an opinion about Siri and Alexa. And my opinion is those gals are not nice people. For what it's worth, I'll probably get something with skull and crossbones from those two now. Here's another one that just rattles my cage a little. I don't even understand it because it's not true. Safety first. How about we use some common sense? How come if you work outside one little place you have to wear one of those tennis ball yellow-green shirts everywhere you go? How about the car seats? Back when those were starting to get like mandatory, they were saying that your child had to be 80 pounds before you get them out of a car seat. 80 pounds! 80 pounds! I know grown adults that are just barely a little over 80 pounds. Give me a break. Let's use some common sense. Now, helmets, I don't know. All I know is I used to ride horses, ride bicycles, ride skateboards. What else do you have to have a helmet for? Everything. Brushing your teeth? You might fall and crack your noggin. Surely you might fall and crack your noggin. Maybe we knew how to fall better back in the day. So I'm not coming against helmets. I just think that this safety first thing is an agenda to make us dependent upon something other than ourselves. And that makes me wonder sometimes. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, although in the 21st century I could turn into one fairly easily, I do believe. But I am a great believer on you trust yourself and your instincts. God put into us some common sense that goes a lot further than AI or whatever. Here's another one, the TV season. What happened to the traditional television season, where a season started in September and ran until May, and it had 30-some shows, and you could really get into it, and you had a choice of shows between ABC, CBS, NBC. There's always something to watch. Then the VCR came out, and so if two shows were on at the same time, you could record one and watch the other. Then DVR came out, and you could record 3 and watch 2 or something, if you had picture-in-picture. And the quality of the TV shows were very good on the whole. And now there's hardly anything on network TV, really hardly anything as far as I'm concerned. And you go to the streaming services, and it's going to cost you, $5, $9 a month, whatever. And then they're going to have commercials over half of them. And what the heck? Also, a TV season lasts 8 to 10 episodes, not 30, 25 to 32, whatever. And you just get into it, and it's over. Your only hope is to find something that's worth watching that isn't passing their agenda, trying to push it on you, just come to entertain you in a clean and wholesome way, which is even harder yet. Something that makes me feel good and not provokes me to not wanting to watch that anymore because they're trying to shove something down my throat. Well, I have learned to just turn it off. No matter how much I like the idea or the premise of the show, if they start doing that to me, they are not going to insult my intelligence. I'll turn it off. I'll read a book. I'll make a podcast. I'll listen to a podcast. You know, there's a million podcasts out there. If one gets that way, I just go to somebody else. Why can't I do that with TV? I am. I'm doing that with TV now, and I'm happier for it. I just want to sit back in my recliner and veg out and watch a show that makes me feel good. Another thing I don't like in the 21st century, while I'm airing out somebody else's dirty laundry, is the news. All forms of news, TV, radio, internet, newspaper, what's left of them. You know, the newspaper here in the city I live close to, not only do they barely have a paper going anymore, if you want to get on their website and read the news, you have to subscribe. I don't know whatever happened to these news services on the internet that don't do that. And they have millions upon millions. But there are ads. Why not? Just my opinion. How about coffee? Let's make it a little lighter. How about coffee? Now, I like coffee. I do. I like to go to the grocery store, actually to the wholesale club, and buy a big old can of coffee. Make it every morning in my automatic drip coffee maker. I used to have one of those, you know, with the little plastic jobs you put in there and you get one cup. I finally decided that's rip, and I didn't like the coffee, and it kind of tasted like plastic to me. So I just went back to my automatic drip. Now, my parents would want the percolator, you know what I mean? That's okay. I drink out of that. But my automatic drip, I do not want a latte or a cappuccino or a mocha or espresso or an iced coffee or coffee candy or coffee ice cream. I want black coffee. I don't want milk and sugar in it. I don't want creamer in it, you know, flavored creamer, although I drink a little of that at Christmas. I just want coffee. What happened to that? Also, my big old 40-ounce can of coffee that makes hundreds of cups costs $10. Or I could go, I guess, down to that place where you stand and you can order one of these for $5. Just my opinion. How about participation awards? Yes, I went out for the team and I got a participation award. A little kid went up to a man in uniform. You could tell he was an officer in the Army. And he looked at his medals on his jacket, the awards the man had earned. And the little boy said, "Look at all your participation trophies in sports." I know it's weird, and it's far out. It's almost unbelievable, but it's not. Here's another one, no privacy. We touched on that with Alexa and Siri. There's no privacy. Your TV's listening to you, your computer's listening to you, your phone is listening to you. Chances are your doorbell's listening to you, your smoke alarm's listening to you. Your cameras that you think is keeping you safe are listening to you. What? And the very last one, our times in this 21st century have taken kids out of the great outdoors. You don't see them riding their bikes around town. You don't see them playing sandlot baseball games or pickup football games or pretty much even basketball games at the park. If they're playing sports, it's all organized, and the parents have to drive them from one sport to the other and pay a fee to let their kids participate. This whole deal between video games and our safety is stealing our children's childhood. Just some thoughts from the other side. Always be kind, even when you don't want to be. It's the way it should be. Kindness matters. I'll be back next week. Peace out.